Hello there, are you as wet as me? We are standing out in the rain here, but under a nice spruce, I think the English word is, like a Christmas tree. So it's not raining right here on my camera and on my paper. But let's breathe in this very fresh. I think this rain also stimulates your immune system. It's the ions in it activates stuff, which is very good. So take a deep breath. Wet t-shirt contest here. I will take Swexit as an example of how to do stuff right, or Brexit if you want. How to not do it is Brexit. You can't decide on something and then go on and negotiate about it. That's the stupidest thing you can do. What if you buy a car and you say to the seller, oh, I've decided I will buy this car. What does it cost? Are you that stupid? Yes, that's how stupid people are when they vote about something like Brexit. What you should do is first you ask, should we do some negotiation? You can decide that in your parliament, or you can have a referendum about it. But then if you decide, yeah, we should do something about that, we pay way too much to European Union, and if we don't get more, we will walk away, or any other deal. This is normal for you. It's not normal how you run a country, unfortunately. Instead, referendums are used more playing games and in convincing and stuff. It's not to make a good decision or a good deal in any way. But my is. And then you negotiate. Either it's like European Union says, no, we will not negotiate. You have to pay what you have to if you are staying. Then you can say, okay, we are leaving. What's your deal? Or we will just leave hard without any deal whatsoever. And then you negotiate with that for 2 years. Or maybe European Union says, okay, you pay a little bit too much, maybe we really want you staying in the Union, so we can give you a better deal here. You can pay a little bit less, you can have a little bit fewer, you can have some research facility or something in your country that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And we can give you and your friends in the elite some nice jobs afterwards that the public of course never will hear about, but that will happen surely. And then the people can decide if this final deal was okay, or if they want to leave anyway. So there is a guy called Thomas Borodi, and he was the founder of CDC in 1984. He has 150 patents, and you will never read about him in most media, because he says stuff like we can cure all COVID patients, just give them Ivermectin and doxycycline, and of course zinc, and you can also treat them with other stuff that's obvious, like vitamin D and C and so on. He can say this, and there's no reason to mistrust him, and he can point to the science that is extremely promising, and Ivermectin can be used in prophylactic settings where it's the absolutely best. But your media will not talk about it. Then we have more people. This article is mostly good because it has a lot of links to science about quercetin, about hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. It also has links to heparin, which is something that stops clotting. I think that part is just new to me. Everywhere where treating COVID patients, they give them blood thinners, I think. Otherwise they should. unless there is a problem with that patient, or that patient just doesn't have any risks for clotting. So new to me, and a lot of links just. Medcram had just explained how you see if you have a coronavirus or if you have a flu. The problem is there are many kinds of coronaviruses, and if you have like a common flu, now common cold with a coronavirus, I don't know, it can be very similar to a coronavirus. But if you wonder if you have the flu or if you have the COVID, more likely, if you start to have a high fever and then start coughing, then it's COVID. It can be, of course, SARS or something very exotic, but maybe a common cold. But fever and then coughing, that's something like coronaviruses do. If you get influenza, you will start coughing and then you will develop fever. So this can be good to know. All my tips on that you should eat quercetin, zinc, eat a lot of garlic as soon as you feel sick. You can, if you have something hurting back in your throat or something, you can use both star anise together with the quercetin, of course, and zinc, and you can use colloidal silver to gargle, and then the silver ions can be used by the immune system or directly kill all the viruses that are coming in contact with there, which makes it more difficult for the virus. It's not like a super curing, but it seems to do that. In Sweden, the regime is very upset that they can't make what's called a constitutional law that protects their state-run media. They say it's independent because they have their own mafia there that they have indoctrinated. That's they don't even see that they are so indoctrinated, and they always report stuff from the view of a leftist and, of course, climate alarmist and so on. They have no credibility whatsoever on anyone on the right or in the populist parties. But they wanted to keep this forever. Not forever. You can actually change the Swedish constitution pretty easy. You just have to have an election between the cases. But this time it was stopped, and they got very upset. Why can't we keep it like, you know, in Belarus forever? Because otherwise it's like in Belarus, or maybe like in North Korea, because we can't have state-run media anymore. They make no sense whatsoever. They don't care. They are sociopaths. They want to keep their power, and that's what they are upset that they can't do. I talk about putting bets on, for example, that Trump is going to win. I put the link to Betfair and Unibet. Unibet I don't have to put a link, you know, it's .com. But in Betfair you can actually trade bets with each other, and you can even try to put bets on two opposite things, like the Democrats are winning and the Republicans are winning, and then you bet against it on both sides, and then you will maybe can earn some interest because you have to put your money there in before, and then you have to wait until after the election, and then you get your money back, hopefully with interest, if you have don't done anything really stupid and paid for too much for something. I will not explain in details because it's complicated, but you figure it out if you have done other tradings and futures and stuff like that. Well, at Unibet you just say I bet for that Trump is winning, and then in a few months you will get 2.17% back, unless he suddenly dies or something, or it's epic voter fraud, which I think is, there is no chance for epic voter fraud. It's just that the Democrats wanted to appear like that. They are doing everything to be able to say after the election that Trump will win. That no, it wasn't fair. Trump was cheating with the system that we put in place or didn't put in place or whatever. They don't care. They just want to lie. And they go on with lies, 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 lies all the time. Now it was Michelle Obama that was saying that Trump put children in cages, which you do, because otherwise you don't know if they are trafficked by slave traders. You have to separate them, take DNA test and so on, and you have to protect the children with cages. And who built those cages? Obama did, and he didn't stop the child sex or child slave trade. But Trump is doing that, and the slave traders don't like that, and they have control over much of the elite in the Democratic Party and much of the elite in the Republican Party too. But the Republicans, they don't dare, the criminal Republicans, they don't dare to criticize Trump because they know their voters have very many guns, and that's a little bit scary, even if they are not going to use them. But they are going to speak up if anything you do is like totally anti-Trump. If you are like McCain, who has now died, or Mitt Romney, that's always against Trump, your voters are not going to re-elect you. Your Republican voters, that is. So some people are coming, and with that we say goodbye.